If you are a foreign national who is a guest in any form or fashion here in the United States of America and you support terrorism, the law allows the president to throw your you-know-what out. So President Trump and his team has seen for the last several years, especially since the October 7th massacre of Israelis and Americans by Hamas terrorists, a rising movement, a brazen movement here in the United States by radical leftists on campus and elsewhere to promote and support Hamas terrorism and mass killing. And some of those so-called protests, which are really been nothing more than takeovers in the illegal sense of the word, anti-Semitic, dangerous activities, implicit violence, actual violence, harassment. But many foreign nationals have been involved in those protests supporting terrorism. And let's be simple, I'm not going to kind of go through the statute that allows the president to remove someone who does that. But if you are a foreign national who is a guest in any form or fashion here in the United States of America and you support terrorism, the law allows the president to throw your you-know-what out. And so there was one individual that was arrested, and there will, at the beginning of many others who are going to be arrested and deported for doing exactly that. And so this one guy who's arrested is now being supported by the radical left who likes terrorism, likes political violence, so they don't object to him being a foreign national advocating for terrorist activity here in our country. The elimination of Israel, the mass murder of individuals. Why would we let anyone like that remain in our country? But this is what they want to do. Look at this video here. Is this an insurrection, what you just saw there? It's the president's property. And they're in there supporting terrorism. Literally, someone who is a Hamas promoter. Hamas is a terrorist group, in case you don't know. It's a terrorist group. And it just gets worse and worse. You've got the left-wing terrorists targeting Tesla. I call it a terrorist. It is a terrorist movement targeting Tesla and Elon Musk, who's a federal official, as I talked about last week. And I think there needs to be a comprehensive investigation of that as well. And I was on TV with our friends at Newsmax the other day talking about it. Let's play that.
Let's continue this conversation with the president of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton. Tom, it's great to see you. These aren't the only allegations against ActBlue out there. I mean, Elon Musk is accusing the Democrat platform of funding groups responsible for the so-called demonstrations against Tesla. ActBlue denies any wrongdoing, by the way. Musk does point out that ActBlue is currently under investigation for allowing foreign and illegal donations in criminal violation of campaign finance laws. Tom, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, what's really interesting about ActBlue is recently, just in the last week, it's been announced essentially their core leadership has fled. So a lot of their key people are gone, which suggests there was something going on that caused them to flee. And you have to wonder whether these questions about taking money knowingly from sources that they knew or had reason to know were not valid, like from abroad for political campaigns, whether that's the issue that we're concerned about, or as Elon Musk is highlighting, that it's one thing to be funding public policy debates through charitable donations and political operations. It's another thing to be funding terrorism and political violence against your opponents. And what I think is going on against Tesla and Elon Musk is terrorist activity. And it's dangerous, it's violent, and it's also directed at a federal official. You know, the left, as the left reminds us, he works for Trump. He works in the White House. And when you engage in violence targeting a federal official to stop him from doing his work, you know, there are other serious crimes, both criminal and civil, that arise from that.
So, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, get on it. Get on it. I mean, this lawlessness around immigration, I mean, I guess it's no surprise they would support terrorists being here or terrorist supporters being here. They don't believe in policing the borders. The left believes in open borders. You know, one of the new leaders of the progressive left in Congress, I think we've had her appear here involuntarily as a result of clips, is Jasmine Crockett, a young congressman or congresswoman from Texas. And here's her legal analysis of the legality of invading America.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated.
Look, this woman doesn't know what she's talking about. Member of Congress aside, progressive, radical. It's a crime to cross the border illegally. It's generally a crime to remain here illegally. Criminal violation of law.
I mean, this is the problem with the left, is that they've been pushing this malarkey that being here in a violation of immigration law is only a civil issue. And that's outrageously false. If you cross the border outside the lawful areas that allow border crossings, it's a crime. A crime in the sense you can go to jail for it. It's not a civil crime. It's a crime of, it's a violation of criminal law. Similarly, if you remain here in the United States unlawfully, you're also in violation of criminal law in most circumstances. Not all, but most circumstances. And of course, the sanctuary cities pretend that, you know, subpoenas have to be, you know, issued by a particular court or some other made-up rule that they have to, that they've imposed on the federal government to protect the public, to protect illegal aliens from being, you know, detained and deported by the federal government. And Jasmine Crockett is just a perfect example of that. I don't know, is it ignorance or lies? I don't know. You know, you pick whether she knowingly is providing false information or is not smart enough to know or understand the law. I mean, she's a lawyer. I think she's a trained lawyer. I think she was a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. It's, you know, the law's right there. You can go read it, look it up. Is there anything else I'm supposed to be talking about related to this issue? I don't think so. But this is what we're dealing with every week. It's like this descent into, it's not kind of going down the rabbit hole, but there, you know, the left is like spinning and, you know, going down the drain in terms of irrational, dangerous behavior. And you kind of think they reached the bottom, but it just keeps on going further and further down. Violence against Tesla, invading Trump's offices, Trump Towers where he lives when he's in New York is one of his homes. Encouraging lawlessness by a member of Congress. Invasion. Just keeps on keeping on. So the threat from the left to our system of government in the American way continues. And this is why Judicial Watch's work is so important. Not only am I educating, I'd like to think, through this program and our other Judicial Watch activities online and our newsletter that if you're a supporter, you get in the mail, our emails, our text messages, all of that communication. But our work to expose what's happening in our government as a result of this misconduct and this approach to law, this embrace of lawlessness by government officials, going to court to uphold the rule of law in the face of corruption and a disrespect for the rule of law by so many, It's the work is ever increasing. It is ever increasing. I mean, Trump is doing some phenomenal work in trying to reverse some of the worst of the trends. But he's going to have to be in office, or someone like him, with the support of a Congress that's much more active than is one now, even though, relatively speaking, this Congress is very supportive. Still a lot more work to be done. And we're going to have 10, 12 years of the right leadership. And I don't say that in a partisan way. I mean, the big question for America, I think, is will both political parties become American? And my concern is, there are a lot of anti-American vibes within a major political party right now that embraces lawlessness. It's just a factual observation. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.